All right, welcome everybody. Nice to have you here for practice today, whether it's live or after the fact. So I sent out an email. Hopefully you got it. I will just recap that email real quick because I think it's good for all of us to just review what we have learned. Otherwise, it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. And if we are reminded of it, we're more likely to integrate it into our practice, into our life. So far, as far as the yoga teachings goes, is we've gone over tapas, which is the rigor or friction or heat that arises from our effort to make changes in our life. Really, I call this like, I say change is something that's more inevitable. So a better word that I would use would be transformation. If we're trying to transform the way that we think, feel, act, behave, the way we exist in our body, the way that we interact with people, if we're trying to create a transformation, an intentional change, in other words, then we have to be ready to endure the tapas, the rigor of that, okay? We know that just right down to a neurological level, if we want to make a change, that there is going to be a friction, there is going to be frustration involved, anger, there's going to be all of these quote unquote negative emotions that are in relationship to challenge. Challenges are going to come our way. And abhyasa is the word for practice that is recursive. It's specific that it's recursive because we can take practice to mean, well, I just show up today and maybe next week, but the idea is that we are routinely, repetitively showing up for our yoga practice. And I would argue that the yoga teachings have to be implemented every day, even if you're only doing asana 3 days a week, that the teachings of yoga have to be implemented in order for us to make real transformative shifts in our life. We went over the mind, the ego, memory, and intellect are the three main ones that are talked about as the manas. And we also talked about memory, smriti, sorry. So we've got ego, which is the identities, the little boxes of uniqueness that we try to put ourselves in. We have sense perception. The mind is always reacting to the senses and what's coming in. We have memory, smriti, which is of course the hard drive of a computer, remembering things from the past, and oftentimes projecting the present moment based on our past experiences, seeing things for not what they are, but what we believe them to be based on our perception, which can get a bit sticky, especially in relationship. Intellect, which is the part of us that is able to discern and judge and make choices based on either the lower memory side, or I would say that's more like lower vibration, but more like the intellect can operate in everything outside, or it can operate from within. And one of the goals of yoga practice is to train the intellect to go inward, because it has been trained to go outward, right? We read books, we do things that train it to do arithmetic, things like that. That's all external intellect. And had this been reversed, if school trained us to go inward, maybe now we would have a practice to train the intellect outward, but we have not. So we're flipping it with the yoga practice. So then we have vairagya, which is surrender to the fruits or the results of our efforts, of our abhyasa. Swadhyaya, self-inquiry, which is essentially, I would say, arguably the umbrella for all yoga practices fall underneath swadhyaya, but it's really that's not entirely true. It depends on how you're practicing, of course. You can practice without inquiring within. But hopefully swadhyaya is something that permeates every practice that you do, whether it's asana, meditation, pranayama. You're asking yourself the questions to go inward. You're asking yourselves to reflect, right? We are all doing this, hopefully, in our yoga practices, regardless of the practice itself. Ishvara pranidhana is the surrender to the recognition that we are a divine part of nature, that we are part of this pattern of the universe. And we went over dharana and dhyana, which are a slight difference. Dharana is the effortful focus, constantly bringing our attention back to something. It's like that, it requires that tapas, that rigor of recognition that we've lost our attention and bringing it back, lost it, bringing it back. This is what predominantly the meditation practice is all about. That's about, I'd say, 90% of meditation practice is dharana. It's the recursive effort. It's the abhyasa of continuously bringing our attention back. Okay, that's the state of dharana. To embrace this is to say, it's cool, I get it. I know my attention is going to drift when I'm in meditation. I just bring it back, whether it's to a mantra, or to a sensation, to a location in the body, whatever it is. I can use some point of focus to keep bringing the mind into the now. This is dharana. And then the result of that is dhyana, effortless attention or effortless focus. And then that gives way, if we get into that zone of dhyana long enough, it gives way to this total absorption of samadhi, the experience, or the mind dissolves into the oneness of the now. And I went over in the email the pitfalls of this. Okay, so this is really like the first milestone of yoga, not the ultimate goal of yoga. Really, we want to get to this place of viveka, which is compassionate living. It's taking this awareness of the whole, that we are a part of this universe, Ishvara Pranidhana, and bringing it into our everyday life. Now, what happens, the pitfall, is that we tend to fall into this intellectual, egoic place where we believe that we are more intelligent because we've experienced samadhi, that we are in the know and everyone else is ignorant, that we are in the now and everyone else is not, that we are, and it's this kind of hierarchy that the intellect and the ego will play with because they're so trained to do that. So these part of our mind are trained to separate us. So we go experience samadhi, and then we come back, we forget part of that experience of being absorbed into the fullness of all there is, recognizing that the person that we are believing to be ignorant is actually us in a slightly different expression. So what we need to remember in our waking life, in our daily life, in our interactions, is that everyone that we're in contact with is an expression of the same light. So when a light hits, when light fractals out into multiple colors, there's multiple expressions of that one light: red, green, yellow, blue, violet, whatever. And neither color is better than the other, more intelligent than the other. They are just vibrating at different levels, and as a result, they are expressions of this one light. But the thing is, all light is part of that one source. And if we can get to that place where we practice again and again and again, instead of separation that happens of identity, of saying like we are yogis and we are meditators and things like this, rather we recognize that we're fully a part of the expression of the universe, that we're in this together, that someone else's ignorance is my ignorance, that my intelligence is somebody else's intelligence. And from that place, this path of viveka opens up. So there is a pitfall along the way, and that is to believe that our experience, that we become more righteous, better than, and really it's just a play of the ego and the intellect kind of staying on the outside. And you see this all the time. It's, like spiritual bypassing is a thing where essentially people will use spiritual teachings, and there's ways of defining this, but one way of defining it, people will use spiritual teachings to separate themselves, and we don't want to fall into that pitfall on this path. So compassionate living is the ultimate path, I would say, not rather than goal, because that implies that it would end at some point, that we're just suddenly living compassionately. But it's a recursive abhyasa. It's a recursive practice to keep showing up and to attempt to live more compassionately. And we will fail. We'll make mistakes along the path, and we'll just keep going. So, all right, today, what I'd like to get into is recently I've been struggling. 2 nights in a row have woken up to something around 3:30 a.m. The first night was something outside that was beeping really loud that I had set up, and basically a battery died, and it was just continuously beeping to let me know. So I woke up at 3:30, had to go outside, disconnect this thing, and it was a struggle to go to sleep. So I what was happening was that beeping noise triggered my sympathetic nervous system, So the body starts getting adrenaline, it starts getting cortisol, acetylcholine, these neurochemical neuromodulators start flooding the system to wake me up. And then it's 3:30 in the morning, I want to go back to bed. So I had to do pranayama in order to get myself to go back to bed, to go from sympathetic to parasympathetic nervous system. So what I did was focused on my exhale and elongated the exhale. In fact, I listened to my wife breathe when she was sleeping, and you can hear. It's like a shorter inhale and then an exhale with a linger at the shorter inhale, exhale with a linger. Now, if you wanted to stimulate parasympathetic, you would mimic that where right, there's a lingering, what the yogis call kumbhaka, which is just like it translates to kind of breath retention, but I don't love that because it sounds like we're kind of holding something, but rather we're just letting the breath be as it is without movement, okay? So that's, again, review parasympathetic. The opposite would be true if we wanted to stimulate the sympathetic. We would right, we would use our inhales, inflate the inhales, elongate the inhales, emphasize them in order to wake up, okay? And then last night, by the way, same situation happened, but not with something outside. The weather changed drastically. We had a warm front come through, raining like crazy outside, and the humidity in the house made all the floors wet, and it sent off all the smoke alarms around the house. I think like 6 or 7 were going off. And we have some guests here that were staying here, and I'm just going at 3:30 in the morning, taking out the smoke alarms. And then, of course, going back to bed, I had to do the same thing. Okay, let me get back into parasympathetic. So these breathwork tools, they do work, and they will help you fall back to sleep when you need to, especially when you've got adrenaline pumping through your veins and you're trying to go back to sleep because well, I don't want to be up right now. I want this time to be my rest time. So we'll start today with a breathwork technique that we've done so far. It's called Bhastrika again, and we'll also we'll close, or towards the end of our practice, we'll go back to Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana, I'll just review. Thumb over right nostril, we inhale through the left. You can choose, and we will, to have a kumbhaka, which is just a retention, a lingering moment at the top, and then exhale through the right, linger at the bottom. Inhale through the right, linger at the top, exhale through the left, okay? And dilating the nostrils is key because a lot of us where you can't really breathe in. So you have to dilate the sinus or the nostril, flare out the nose, and open it up in order to allow for breath to pass through. Okay. So we're gonna go back to Bhastrika. Bhastrika versus what we did last practice, if I recall, we did just the exhales, right? I'm asking you to respond, right? Correct? So there's a difference where if you focus on just the exhales like this, where you pull the diaphragm up or you pull the what's called transverse abdominals, if you pull them back, versus okay, when you intentionally breathe, move the diaphragm down, the belly pooches out, the breath pulls in as a vacuum. When you intentionally pull the belly back, the breath goes out because the diaphragm goes up. This one is called Bhastrika, when we intentionally or deliberately move the belly in and out. So that's going to be strengthening the transverse abdominals and the diaphragm. The transverse create the exhale, the deep core muscles. So the transverse abdominals create the exhale. That's going to be an engagement of those. The diaphragm pushes down to create the inhale. The belly will expand out. That's Bhastrika. Okay. And that's the one we're going to be doing today. And what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Well, let's get going with that, and we'll get into our yoga practice. We're going to be working a little bit of opening the front and sides of the body today, underneath the shoulders, underneath the armpits here, to allow for greater breath in the physical practice. But we're going to start with Bhastrika, the intentional or deliberate inhale and exhale, where the belly is moving in and out, where you're using your abdominal muscles to pull it in, your diaphragm to push it out. So you can try that. Okay, so try that a couple rounds just to see if you can get a hang of it for a moment, okay? And I'll give you a second to kind of play around with that. All right, now, sorry, I'm just 1 second here. Okay, just seeing if there's, I was just looking up to see if there is any information on this about creating parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system response, like in research. Bhastrika, nervous system, improved nervous system, running out, breathe fire. I'm gonna have to, all right, I don't want to waste our time here. I'll do a little more research on that to see if I can find out. All right, so anyway, I'll do some more research on that, whether or not Bhastrika, I would assume it's going to stimulate the sympathetic nervous system due to the nature of the abdominal movement, but we are using inhale and exhale while doing so. For me, it tends to give me a little more alert. Now, if you emphasize it or if you make it more intense, I'm sure it's going to be more sympathetic. And if you calm it down, maybe it's going to be more on the parasympathetic. So if you can do it calmly like this, and that would be good if you're moving towards a meditation, and maybe we do it just a little bit more rigorously, not too much, as we're about to move into our asana. So together, we're gonna do 3 rounds of approximately 15. I don't love to count because I wanna focus on the technique, but in and around that zone. So together, let's take a breath in and out. We inhale part of the way, and together, I will emphasize that we don't want this breathing to happen all the way up at the collarbones. That would be too stimulating and probably anxiety ridden. It would make you feel a little worrisome, but keep it down in the abdomen, okay? Keep it more grounded. Again, this is Bhastrika, not Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati would be the one which we would force just the exhale and let the body inhale. This one, we're actually intentionally moving the belly in and out to pull in the breath and push out the breath. Let's do another round. Here we go. Notice how it makes you feel. And one more round. Notice what that creates for you. Okay. Let's gently open the eyes, keep them soft. Let's work the shoulders a few times in protraction. So separate your shoulders like you're hugging yourself. And then move into retraction. Pull your shoulder blades together. You can move your elbows back like so. Inhale like you're hugging yourself, protract. Exhale, retract, move the scapula together, elbows back. Inhale, we're talking about the shoulder blades in particular, but the arms are moving as well. Retraction. Let's do it a few times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, you can move the whole spine like more like a cat and cow. One more. Okay. Let's come into all fours, hands and knees. Flipping the breath. On the inhale, we arch and look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch, and look up. Exhale and round. Inhale, arch, and look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch, look up and pause. Now let's completely melt the chest down so the shoulder blades come together. Again, that's called a retraction when they come together. And then protract, push the shoulder blades apart. The upper back fills out, protraction. And let's do it with the breath. Inhale to soften. Exhale, push. Inhale, retract. Exhale, protract. If you're struggling with getting the retraction, move your shoulders forward towards your ears more. You'll have more range of motion, most likely. Exhale. Inhale. These are called scapula push-ups. Exhale. You notice my elbows aren't bending. All right, let's come to downward facing dog. Feel free to bend the knees, move the hips side to side if you wish. Or of course, stillness is fine as well. Let's continue to move our breath. Forward to plank pose, inhale, protract. Keep the elbows straight. We're gonna do one scapula push-up like this, soften. We'll inhale now to protract. Let's do two more actually. Exhale, soften, shoulder blades together. Inhale, protract. Exhale, retract. Inhale, protract. This time, retract as you bend your elbows. Inhale, lift the heart. Retract. Exhale, soften. Inhale, heart and feet. Exhale. Heart, hands, and feet. Retract. Release. All fours. Start to protract. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Bend your knee, open up your hip.
Full breath in here. Full breath out. Straighten the leg, inhale, square the hip. Step right foot forward. High up on the fingertips, we take a breath. Exhale it out. Pull your feet toward each other. Press down through the right heel and rise up, hands to the front thigh. Push into your feet a little more, rise all the way up and come into retraction with cactus arms. Shoulder blades together, elbows back. We'll do an inhale to inflate the back body and protract. Bring the elbows together. Pull the ribs back. Exhale. Retract, send the heart forward. Inhale, send the heart back as you expand the back body. Back leg straight. Exhale. Retract. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Reach the arms up and back, look up, heart up and forward. Exhale, arms to the ground, release. Plank pose with protraction, so shoulder blades separate. As you exhale, bend the elbows and retract the scapula. This time, interlace the hands behind the back. Slide the hands towards the low back and shrug your shoulders first to your ears, then retract. Reach the hands to the sky with interlacing. So open up the pectoral muscles, inhale, lift the heart. Optionally, you can lift the feet up. Lift the arms a little higher. And release. All fours start to protract as you push downward facing dog. Let's take left leg to the sky. Bend knee, open up hip. Full breath in. And out. Straight leg, square hip. Step forward. Okay, come up on your fingertips, take a breath. Square the pelvis so you can see here. If my hip is out to the side, which most of us do, we're gonna bring it in and then press down. From that, you can get a little more stability, more strength to rise up. And we're gonna come up all the way into cactus arms. Inhale. As we exhale, forearms together, protract. We'll use the inhale to retract the scapula, move them together. Open the chest, a little back bend is great. Exhale. Shoulder blades apart. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Let's do one more. Open it up on the inhale. Reach the arms up. Send the heart forward a little bit and then lift the chest. Reach through the fingers. Exhale, arms down by your sides to release. Plank protracted. Inhale, shoulder blades separate. As you bend the elbows, shoulder blades come together. Slide the hands and feet wide. Lift the front body. Soften, melt, midsection, low back, right behind the ribs, relax. Pull the chest forward, press it to the front as you inhale, and then release. All fours, hands and knees. Tailbone leads the way into downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. 2 more. Lift the heels up on the inhale, look forward. Walk or step to the front of the mat. Soften the knees, interlace the hands behind the back. Let the shoulders melt a little towards the ears. And then as they go towards the ears, squeeze shoulder blades and elbows toward each other to open up the chest. Three more breaths. All right, hands to the hips. Arch the back and rise all the way up to stand. Tadasana. Inhale, reach to the sun, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to the earth, bow, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, inhale. Left foot back, exhale. Rise, high lunge, inhale. Exhale, hands to the ground, downward facing dog. Plank pose. Chaturanga. Slide hands and feet wide. Inhale, lift front body. Stretch the belly as you soften. Lengthen the heart forward first, then up. Exhale, release. All fours or plank. Exhale, down dog. Right leg to the sky, please. Inhale. Step forward. This time, place your back heel down for warrior one. So back toes 45 degrees forward. Hands to the hips, rise. Okay. The pelvis doesn't have to be completely squared. I think that's kind of silly to even ask ourselves to square the pelvis because the back leg is turned out. So it's not going to go completely squared without torquing a knee or an ankle or whatever. So hips are slightly on a diagonal forward. Then the left ribs move forward and pick the belly up to stretch the abdomen on the left side. Now take your left arm up. You're going to take the right hand, grab the wrist, press the left ribs forward and side bend over to the right. Let's breathe into the left ribs. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Okay, come back to center. Now that we've opened the side body, interlace the hands behind the back. Slide the shoulders up, shoulder blades toward each other. Stretch the arms back behind you. Inhale. Bow to the inside of your right leg. Full breath in. Full breath out. 2 more breaths. Last breath. Start to release the hands to the ground. Pivot the back knee to the earth. Walk the right foot over to the right. Turn it out like so. Okay, and then take your left hand over to the left. Now, left shoulder. Try to retract the left shoulder. So soften the left shoulder blade towards the spine and your heart melts in front of the shoulder. Now turn the chest, okay? And from that place of the shoulder being back behind you, you can actually spin, you see the left bicep, you can spin it out to the left as you retract. Like think about corkscrewing the whole shoulder into the socket. Then press your chest forward.
Now, this is a hard thing to do because the more natural tendency, and I would argue in some cases more correct, is to actually push the ground away. But we're trying to learn something here, so retract the scapula. In a back bend, it's very good to have that. Externally rotate the arm. Now, bend the back knee and reach for a thigh stretch. Let's do 3 more breaths. While I'm here, I'm trying to drag my back knee towards the front knee to get the hip flexors to engage. That's called a facilitated stretch, since the hip flexors are also stretching. One of the quads is a hip flexor. All right, release your thigh stretch if you have it. We're gonna heel toe the front foot back in. Lift the back knee. Okay, inhale, straighten through the front leg. Exhale,
Bow. Let's do a little bit of movement. Inhale, bend the front knee.
exhale, hips up, straighten, and bow.
One more. Okay, bend the front knee, step forward.
Exhale, lift the heart, then bow.
To the sunrise, Urdhva Hastasana.
To the heart. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. To the earth.
Half lift, Ardha Uttanasana.
Right foot steps back as you exhale. High lunge, rise, inhale. Lift, get long, get long. Downward dog.
Plank pose. Chaturanga. Slide hands, inhale, lift front body.
Melt. Press the chest forward as you stretch the belly upward. And release.
All fours or plank. Exhale, down dog. One breath in. One breath out. Left leg up to the sky. Step forward. This time, back heel comes down, 45 more or less degrees forward to the front of the mat. Rise up, warrior one.
Now, remember I said the pelvis slightly open and right ribs pull forward. So we stretch the psoas all the way from the right hip joint all the way up through basically T12 for the psoas major. Now take your right arm up. We'll add the stretch. Might increase the stretch for the psoas, but definitely going to increase the stretch for the obliques. And we side bend over to the left. Trying to press the right ribs forward as we do so. So keeping a back bend while we side bend. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Okay, coming back slowly. Hands non-dominant grip behind the back interlaced. Shoulders go up and then retract the scapula as you reach the hands back behind you. Keeping the retraction. We can turn the tailbone a little to the left in order to bow to the inside now of the left leg.
Stay with your breath. All right, slowly release the hands to the ground. Again, the back knee is going to come down.
Heel toe the left foot over to the left. And then take your right hand out to the right. Right shoulder, we try to roll it back. So we can first, it could be in a 3-step process. 1, shoulder to the ear, because that's going to create mobility. 2, shoulder back, which is retraction. And then 3, we add on this external rotation of the arm bone, okay? And all of that should send the heart a little bit into a back bend. We keep that and see if, yeah, you're going to lose it a little bit as you come up, but see if you can just kind of be cognitive of it, and then bend the back knee, reach for the foot for your thigh stretch. And as you stretch your thigh, elongate the midsection, the belly. So I'll show the front angle again of that. So from here we send the belly and ribs forward. I'm trying to draw the abdomen up for this, more like when we exhaled earlier, we draw the belly in and up. You can breathe in while the belly is in and up. The breath now goes more to the rib cage, what's called thoracic breathing. When you breathe into the ribs, it requires that the intercostal muscles, these are the muscles between each of your ribs, that they're flexible. Let's do one more breath. Okay, and release thigh stretch. Hallelujah. Heel toe the front foot to the midline, or a little more to the right. Straighten both legs on the inhale. As you exhale,
Bow over the straight front leg. A little movement, inhale, bend the knee.
exhale, straighten.
And bow. Inhale, bend.
Exhale, straighten.
Bow. On this inhale, bend and step forward.
Exhale, bow.
To the sunrise, Urdhva Hastasana.
To the heart as you exhale. Bend the knees, hands on thighs. Press the heels out, move the knees and groins back, so you're arching the low back. With the arch of the low back, pull the chest forward and up so you form a nice big back bend, strong in the back muscles. Knees are back, hips are back. Using the back muscles to lift your chest. Take retracted arms, so shoulder blades together while you're in cactus arms. Then together we're going to try to pull the elbows down, shoulders down, elbows down, shoulder blades together. And then on the inhale, we're going to try to keep the shoulders back as we reach the arms up. Exhale, pull them down. Shoulders can go up as the arms go up, but keep them back. Exhale. So trying to keep more or less retracted, or at least those muscles engaged. Shoulders up, shoulders down. Let's do one more. Inhale, reach the arms up to the earth bow.
Halfway lift on the inhale.
Step, walk, or hop, chaturanga. 3-part cobra. Exhale, soften. Stretch the belly towards the front of the mat. Release. All fours, hands and knees. Or plank, down dog, exhale. Right leg to the sky. Step forward. Rise, high lunge, inhale. Warrior 2 as you exhale. Remove the arms a little bit. Internally rotate the arms like so. As you exhale, externally rotate, palms up, biceps face back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hold this, reverse warrior. Inhale. Hold, exhale. Stretch the right waistline long and breathe into the right side. One more breath. Right forearm to the thigh. Hips back. Today, let's try to form a back bend. Arch the back a little bit. Press down through your right heel. Slide the right hand, if you can, outside the right foot, maybe on a block. And the left shoulder, pull it back, retract it. Take cactus arm, shoulder blade towards the spine. As you retract the left scapula, some of you will feel comfortable in reaching over and then straightening the arm. Others of you that'll feel super weird and you'll want to just kind of keep in this position here. Eventually when the shoulder biomechanics settle in, there's a lot more to it than what we've gone over today. So don't, feel like you should be able to get it just from this. We have to train a lot of different muscles to do that. Let's do 2 more breaths. The next immersion, by the way, will be focused on shoulder biomechanics. 1 more breath. Slowly bring both hands to the ground. Pivot the back knee to the earth, hands to the front thigh, come up and pause. Hips forward. And take a thigh stretch, same hand, same foot. So bend the back knee, reach back for your foot, lunge forward. Just like in Warrior One, take your left ribs forward towards the front. Stretch the belly long, lift the heart up. 2 more breaths. Cool, release the thigh stretch. Come to plank pose, inhale. Chaturanga. Slide hands and feet wide, inhale, lift. Soften and melt. And we're gonna do half king cobra. So left foot flexes and pull the heel towards your bum. If you'd like, once you get there, you can point the foot, know that that might cause a cramp for some of you. 1 more breath. And slowly release the foot, release the chest. Inhale to all fours or plank. Exhale to down dog. Let's take 1 breath in, 1 breath out. Left leg to the sky. Step forward. Rise, high lunge. Exhale, open warrior 2. Similar exercise, but a little bit different with the arms. Bend the elbows. Retract the scapula. You can turn the head to the side wall. Inhale, internally rotate. Exhale, externally rotate and retract the scapula. Palms face the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now extend the elbows. Inhale, reverse warrior. Hold here as you exhale. Stretch the left waistline. One more. And left forearm to the thigh, hand to the hip to start. Roll the right shoulder back. See if you can transfer that into a cactus shape. Pull your right shoulder blade to the spine, retract it. Some of you can reach your arm all the way over and it'll work out. But you see how my shoulder is all the way up to the ear when I do that? Okay, when I come back to this place, the shoulder is fine to be wherever it lands. But as you reach, you really have to reach the outer line of your right shoulder. The outside of the arm has to reach overhead for this to feel good. Okay, left hand down, outside the foot. One more breath. And release. Back knee comes down, hands to the front thigh. Same hand, same foot, thigh stretch. Like Warrior One,
Reach the right rib cage forward as you come back to center with your chest. One more breath. Okay, and release the thigh stretch. Step to plank. Lower chaturanga. Slide hands and feet wide. Inhale, lift front body. Melt. Half king cobra on the right side. So flex the right foot, pull the heel towards your buttocks. Some of you might get a hamstring cramp. That's normal. That's why your foot is flexed. It's a little bit easier, or it will shorten the posterior chain a little less. Some of you might feel okay with pointing. Chest has to go forward. A lot of people compress their spine here because they're trying to bring their head back towards their foot, when really the chest needs to go forward. The head can come back without the chest, and that eventually will lead to king cobra. Release. We'll do one even one. Give your hands a break for a moment. Some of you might need to do it on palms, but what I suggest is a nice soft block. I only have a cork block. I'm okay with it, but I don't suggest it. It goes underneath your belly again. Cork block, rolled up blanket, something soft. Okay, inhale, lift. The block helps you with that. Soften into the block. Feet wide. Flex the feet. Pull the heels towards bum. Some of you might say palms have to be down for this, but just resist the temptation to push like this. This will hurt your spine. It won't feel good. You want to melt into retraction. Okay. Point the feet. Stretch the belly in and forward towards the front of the mat. Press the heart to the front of the mat. One more breath. And slow. Release. Remember, you have a block there. You might have to place a forearm down to release the block. All right. Come to all fours slowly. And come to a seated position, hand on a wall. You could, actually, let's all stand up, make it easy, okay? And hello, Rover, welcome in. Okay. So with a hand on the wall, we're gonna do the shoulder actions we've done. Up, back, that's annoying. Okay, shoulder goes up, back, and then externally rotate. Press the chest and ribs forward and turn the chest away from the shoulder. So shoulder up, back, turn the chest away from the shoulder. This will stretch the pectoral line. If you want, you can bend your knees like chair pose. Keep the chest lifted and a back bend while the shoulder is back. So remember, it's not punching forward, it's retracted. And when you externally rotate, it'll bring the shoulder back down for any of you geeks out there. We go up first, back, and externally rotate, and the shoulder blade will come down as a result of the external rotation when the arm is out to the side here. Okay, let's come out of it, switch sides. It's normal to feel a little tingling or a little blood loss. Okay, so here we go. Left shoulder up, back, around, bend the knees, stick your bum out. Turn the chest away from the wall, stretch the left shoulder. Left pectoral muscles. Find the arch in the low back. Lift the chest and belly up. All right, and release. All right, so today let's just do, we'll do Wild Thing with those same actions. You know, this immersion is really not about, which camera am I at? Not really about like getting postures. Oops, that one went out just as I pointed to it. Hold on one second, everybody. I'm starting to lose both cameras again. Let's see.
How are we doing? We got sound now? Okay. Sorry, everybody. Ding dong. Yoo-hoo. Hey, Patty. Hey, Patricia. Simona. Okay, let's do that again. I'll do that same demonstration again. So you form a position like this on the outer right hip. Right leg is straight and left leg is back behind you. Again, I just, yeah, let me see if we can get this. So the shoulder actions we have already done. We go up, back, and around into an arched position. So I'll show it again. Up, back, and around. Okay, once we have that shoulder action up, back, and around, it should form an arch in the back. We move our weight to our feet, and then we use our feet to press up to the sky with the hips and the low back. Then we take the arm that we did earlier, cactus shape it, and pull the shoulder blade to the spine. Use the feet, push into your feet to press the hips to the sky. Okay, then bend the knees, slowly lower the hips to release. Okay. Looks like we got the sound. Everyone's okay? All right, I'm gonna actually keep this angle so you can see what happens from the back side of everything, okay? So I have my right foot turned out, left foot turned out, and I form like chair pose, arch the back. With the left shoulder, I go up to the ear to move it back, and then I spin it around, and the shoulder blade, you can see, will go down the back. See that in slow motion? Up, back. Now as I rotate the arm bone, it'll move the shoulder blade down, which is going to initiate the back bend. Now, I keep the weight, or I push the weight in the feet, and I use the feet to rise up, spinning the left shoulder out. This back arm here, shoulder blade pulls to the spine. And there we are in our wild thing. Okay. Come out the way we came in. All right. So everything's okay, I hope. 1 second. All right, let's come do one even back bend so that we don't leave the spine out of sorts. Come down, fingertips. On the inhale, lift the front body. As we exhale, melt. Stretch the belly long. Lift the sides of the ribs. Optionally, we can stay here. One more breath. And release. Come to all fours, hands and knees. All right, I'd like you to find, let's just do a pigeon on the right side. Take the forearms down to release the right hip. Four more breaths. Okay, move on to the left side. Pigeon pose. Okay, come on out. We're going to find a seated position of your choosing. And we'll do Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing with a 6 count on the exhale. So, or, it doesn't have to be so scientific, just a longer exhale than the holds and the inhale. So we'll go inhale, hold, exhale, continue to exhale, hold, and inhale, right? So that's the exhalation portion, you can count to 6, everything else count to 4. So we'll to down regulate the system to see if while we're up here after a back bend, can we slowly through pranayama shift our nervous system. Okay, so here's the hand positioning again, like so. So you have the thumb and the middle finger, or the ring finger. Together, close the eyes, take a breath in through the nose. Exhale it out. Gently place the thumb upon the right nostril. Dilate the left nostril. Inhale through the left side. Hold at the top. Switch your hand. Now elongate the exhale through the right side. Hold. Inhale through the right. Dilate the nostrils. Hold at the top. Switch the nostrils, exhale through the left. Elongate the exhale. Inhale through the left side. Hold at the top. Switch the nostrils. Elongate the exhale. Hold at the bottom. Inhale through the right. Hold at the top as you switch the thumb. Exhale, elongate. Linger at the bottom. Inhale through the left. Linger. Out through the right, elongate. Linger. Inhale. Linger. Exhale left. Linger. Inhale. Linger. Out to the right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Linger. 3, 2, 1. Inhale right. 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Linger for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 2. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 4. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 6, 5. Hold 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 6. 4. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Release the hand and just observe the state of your energy right now. Observe your energy levels. As you observe your energy, try to pull back a little bit into the deeper awareness, that is to watch yourself observing. Now, for many of us, in order to get into this state of observation, we need a tool to tame the mind, to harness the vrittis, the mind stuff. And for this we can use mantra. If you're already there, in the state of witnessing yourself witnessing, so there's one part of you that is observing your energy levels, feeling what it's like to be in this physical body here and now. And the other part of you is watching that part of you, observing the witness. If that is esoteric or out there for you right now, then what you need is a mantra to channel the energy of the mind into single-pointed focus, dharana. And we use the mantra passed down from my teacher, Urjani, Om Namah Shivaya, call to the stillness within all of us. Om Namah Shivaya, a call to the witness, to the observer. Om Namah Shivaya, awareness, capital A. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 A call to the witness. Om Namah Shivaya. The observer within. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Organizing the mind. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Keep it going. Om Namah Shivaya. Now watch yourself. Om Namah Shivaya. Reciting the mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. Observe. Om Namah Shivaya. Part of you. Om Namah Shivaya. Reciting the mantra. Namah Shivaya. The other part is observing the part of you reciting the mantra. Observe. Observe. Okay, come back to the breath. Come back to your body. Fingers and toes. Take your time. When it feels right, bring the palms together and create some heat. To bring us back into physical body, place the hands over the eyes, feel the warmth and breathe into them. Hands over the heart. Feel the warmth and breathe into them. hands over the belly. And massage the legs. And if you can, get to your feet. Palms together at the heart center. Some of you will continue on and do Shavasana. And if so, you can pause the video. Come back to this afterwards. Observe where you are. The right and left hand in this mudra, Anjali mudra, represent the sun and the moon, respectively. The Pingala channel, right, left, the, Ida Nadi. And in the center there, between the two palms, rests the Sushumna Nadi. Symbolism, of course. This is the central channel for which we have the greatest ease of experience, samadhi, where the two sides, the sun and the moon, come together in harmony. Bowing inward. With gratitude for this practice and our connection to each other. Namaste. All right, everybody, thank you so very much for tuning in. It's nice to share this practice with you. We are on practice number 8. This is the completion of that. So that means we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 more left. We're at that 3/4 mark. In September, my plan is to do a shoulder biomechanics immersion. Less focused on the movement aspect and more focused on the available movements in the shoulder in particular. So back to our standard hatha style, where we use, of course, still some vinyasa elements, but our focus is predominantly on technique. That's what we'll be doing for September, so that we can free up the available movements of the shoulders, including retraction, protraction, and many more that are available there. Also the glenohumeral joint, the rotations of the arm bones, and so forth. So for those of you that are interested in that, I have not yet released that and opened that up for registration, but it will be coming soon if you're watching this live. And of course, if you're not watching this live, it might already be available. If so, it'll probably be above this video for you to register for that. And as always, if you are a member of this immersion, you get the following immersion at a discount, so make sure you get that discount code right. So I did miss, I think someone came in and I missed, was it Rover? Hello, Rover. Nice to have you here. Patricia, thanks for being here. Kristen K, thanks for being here. Debbie, thanks so much. Patty Rimkunas, thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed class. Nina Eckhart, thanks so much. Nice to have you here. Thank you, Kristen K. All right. See you for the final 4 classes, everybody. Thank you, Mikkel. Nice to have you. You have a great night as well. Okay, everyone. See you soon. Bye.